Hey everybody, welcome to AquaNox2. Now, this is a game, it's actually kind of old. It's all the way down here. It's from back in 2003. And unfortunately, this game kind of marked the ending for the franchise pretty much. I don't know that they've done much after this game, and it's quite unfortunate actually. It's really a really fun game. Uh, don't mind to continue here. I was just messing around to make sure I can have everything up and running for the recording. Um, yeah, this is a game back in the day. I played quite a bit. It's been a long time actually, thinking back since I've last played it, and quite a while since I've last thought about it. But yeah, I'm curious to see how well it holds up nowadays. So without further ado, let's get into it.
There are many tales of the land without sky, and it seemed to me as if my grandmother knew them all. Grandmother Drake. She always told me that in such a place no star of hope could shine, nor sun of life, nor moon of love, unless the people themselves became lights in the darkness. I remember there was one story I could never hear enough. It was the heroic tale of a very wise man who lived at the time of the Great Migration. The surface had been stricken with cataclysmic natural disasters, forcing people to leave their shattered lands for a dark and painful refuge beneath the sea. The man, known as MacGregor, was a visionary scientist and one of the last prophets on Earth. He probed the limits of scientific knowledge in a dozen fields, trying to discover the tantalizing secrets that remained. As I listened, I often imagined that I myself was a descendant of the great MacGregor. The story began in the 22nd century with his discovery of a mysterious sea creature on a beach in northern Scotland. No larger than the palm of MacGregor's hand, it looked like a horseshoe crab. The scientist took the creature to one of his laboratories and examined it more closely, and what he discovered was so unspeakably horrifying that fear and dread almost drove him insane. Then, when he and his staff tried to incinerate the creature, it refused to burn. When they tried to crush it, the hydraulic press shattered under the strain. I pestered my grandmother to tell me what was so horrifying about the creature, but she would only lower her voice and say, "It was made of flesh and gold, and of another metal that does not exist on Earth, and it could reproduce itself. Woe betide the man who finds such a creature. Woe betide him, because legend says it will be his ruin." Thoughts of such creatures still lurking in the seas, still reproducing themselves, gave me endless nightmares. In my daydreams, I pretended that I too would become a scientist and invent a weapon capable of destroying those creatures once and for all. My grandmother always said a single person could change the world with their mind, but whether that change was for better or worse was up to them. A single individual could sway the world as much as the masses, she said, if they were right. MacGregor soon turned his mind to constructing incredible submarines the world had only dreamt of before, and in so doing laid the foundation of submarine technology for centuries to come. Without his knowledge, humanity could never have evolved enough to occupy the oceans. I always feared the ocean's black waters, but I also longed to defy their wretched confines. Like MacGregor before me, I wanted to make discoveries and adventure with the likes of the brave mercenaries my grandmother spoke about. I was 9 years old when word of my mother's death reached us. She'd been managing Drake Enterprises, the family shipping company, which at that time included a respectable fleet of freighters. Then, pirates pillaged her ship off Cape Horn. Her body was never recovered. My father, Alonzo Drake, born Alonzo de Granada, was heartbroken. 3 years later, without so much as a goodbye, he left us to make his fortune in the oceans. I never understood why he abandoned his only son and his family business just like that. Grandmother always said he'd gone off with his brother, another adventurer. When I myself began to dream of adventures in Aqua's inky depths, I feared I had inherited my father's restless blood. My grandmother thought him irresponsible and said he'd probably found a grave on the sea floor by following the tracks of an angel. That was her poetic way of saying he'd lost his mind. After father disappeared, grandmother took over the company, but contracts were few and far between. Soon our financial backers withdrew and the fate of Drake Enterprises was sealed. When I grew up, I worked as a pilot on our last remaining freighter, the Harvester. My nightmares grew fainter over time, but my daydreams of life as an adventurer held fast. When we could no longer afford our family home in Neapolis, my grandmother and I ended up in the Pacific, amid the dangerous and chaotic seas of the northern tornado zone. There, I supplied stations and scattered habitats with chemosynthetic protein and other nourishment. My grandmother died quietly in her sleep, and soon after, I, William Drake, decided to follow the tracks of the angels too, as my father had before me. I decided to become the hero of my own story, a man who wanted to change a part of the world and learn the last of Aqua's secrets, like the scientist had before me. Yet I didn't reject my grandmother's teachings. It's the hidden things that form our reality. You must never be too close to what's going on around you. You can comprehend a whole seamount only from a distance. I knew I wanted to fight like the mercenaries in grandmother's tales. Perhaps I would confront my mother's killers in battle, or maybe just bring a little light to this miserable world without sky. And possibly find some hope for myself there as well. And then again, perhaps I was only a foolish little boy. My grandmother used to say that I was brave without cause and confident without reason. A fish without fins, she said, adrift in Aqua far too young, and headed for disaster.
Harvester. Freighter of the Drake Enterprise.
Hey! Hey, damn it! This is an SOS. I have a ship on my scanner. Will somebody answer me? This is the Bentho 7. Hello?
Bentho 7? Can you hear me? I have received your distress call. My name is William Drake.
This is Captain Hank Bellows. My goddamn bilge is filling up, and the stabilizers on my ship are out. I have negative buoyancy. I don't care whose butt I need to kiss. Send help, or me and my family aren't going to be around much longer.
Don't panic, Senor Bellows. I'll help you.
Call me Hank. Saves time. Where are you?
To your west, Hank. There are some massive ridges here, though I can't get over them.
I'll upload my nav data onto your onboard computer. It'll show the canyon we're in. I was trying to find a shortcut because the Pacific's swimming with pirates around here. Now we're stuck. Unless you can take us in tow, Drake.
My freighter won't fit through that canyon.
Don't you have a scout or something? Come on!
Right, I'll come get you in my boat, Hank. Just give me a minute to batten down in case any pirates show up.
Oh shit, man, there's no time for that. My little daughter's already fainted. Grab your valuables if you're that nervous, compadre, but hurry up or we...
Hang on, Hank, I'm on my way. While I'm following your nav trail, hook your family into the breathing systems on their smart suits.
All right, get going!
Well then, that's a bit of a quick start. But yeah, as far as that whole introduction, the opening cutscene there was concerned, it's unfortunate that the sound levels were a little off in times. I'm sure you've noticed that all of the sound effects and the music were kind of swelling up a little bit and drowning the dialogue ever so slightly. But yeah, well, that aside, I don't know. Again, it's been quite a while since I've last played the game, and I don't remember everything about it. Just, some of the things here and there. But I do have to mention, I don't quite remember how the whole sea creature aspect of the story for the game really comes in. I know it's something that comes up later on in the story, quite towards the end. It's just I don't quite remember the details. But pretty much everything in that introduction actually does come into play in the story, even though just the introduction itself is a little disjointed because it's got like these three sort of separate things going on at the same time, like the sea creature stuff, the William Drake thing, and then the whole stuff with his father going on. But yeah, we'll get into that. But yeah, let's head out and see if we can help out Hank over there. The console over here just brings up the main menu. SOS. Yep. But yeah, something that I really... if there's one thing about the game that pretty much got seared into my brain ever since back in the day, it's pretty much that screen. The one with the big submarine. Like, that's your sort of hub screen for the game. That'll change as you go as we go further through the game. But that specific style and the way you get to interact with all of the different characters, it's fairly simplistic. I mean, it's it's from back in the day. It's not going to be particularly complex, but it has a very specific look and feel to it. That's, I don't know, it's quite memorable. That said, though, let's get into it. Now, as I'm sure everybody noticed here, the game is in a 4:3 resolution. The game is available for purchase on GOG, and it works actually quite well on modern systems. The only issue is that the game, being as old as it is, doesn't... Hold on. Right. The game doesn't have native widescreen resolution support. It will run in pretty much any normal widescreen resolution. It's just that unfortunately the image will just get stretched wide, and as you can see here, the motion, especially if you're strafing and stuff, you're bobbing your camera around in all sorts of directions, and when the image is squished, it gets really nauseating. So yeah, it's a shame really that it doesn't have any better support for widescreen, but even so, I mean, the game runs, so, you know. Yeah. Now, as I'm sure everybody can pick up, the interface is a whole lot of yellow.
Hurry up, man! The hull is breaking up!
Which is very very prevalent throughout the game. But probably the most important thing here to keep in to sort of keep an eye on is the little map display there at the bottom. It's really important because it gives you a whole bunch of different information. You can see all those little vertical lines. They're indicators for the depth or the altitude of the different things on the map. It's really useful stuff. But yeah. And there he is. Oh no! Who could have thought it was a ruse? No. Yeah, I think you've had a little too much to drink too. Yeah, screw you. The old sob story, huh? Well, it was a bit of a waste, wasn't it? Proceed to the nav point. Well, let's head back to home base. Yeah, another thing that's kind of neat about the game is you can see in the bottom left corner over there you've got shields for the different sections of the ship. It's not just one shared sort of shield for the whole thing. No. What do you mean abandoned? How could it be abandoned? I literally just left.
Hurry up and get in here. We've got a new home.
That was awfully unfortunate timing, wasn't it? I mean, it just so happens exactly when we get an SOS. Something that's supposedly so pressing that we have to leave and don't even have time to lock up the doors behind us, which ends up being a ruse, by the way. Just so happens that right then, our freighter gets invaded. I mean, yeah. Man. But yeah, this game's got a lot of nostalgic value for me. And like I said earlier, I'm really curious to see how well it holds up nowadays. Something that I will mention is that the actual camera control, like the motion of the camera, is a little wonky. It's got that thing where it kind of has a little build up, so in more pressing combat it's going to be a little wonky. But yeah, with some getting used to it, it'll be fine. All right, let's hop back onto the ship. That was always a weird thing, like you actually end your mission through the menu. But oh well. Yeah, another thing that was actually really cool back with this game was that you don't have any kind of pickups that you do throughout the missions, but you can find a lot of things. Obviously this was just the very introduction bit. It was mostly just a bit of a movement tutorial, more so than anything else, so there's not going to be much to find. But yeah, if you actually pay a lot of attention and explore as best you can throughout the missions. Now, of course, there's going to be some missions that are time sensitive, so you won't be able to do it all that much, but if you still somehow manage to do it, there's a lot of things to find. Now, as far as I can remember, I haven't really managed to find everything, but, well, you know, let's see what we can get done.
Trader of the Drake Enterprises.
Alright, let's head over to the bridge. Amitab.
What do you want, mate?
Some answers.
Wrong place, wrong time. Shove off.
Yeah, okay, well that was something. Alright, let's keep going. Now, one thing that I'm never sort of really thought of all that much, like, I assume that the whole point here was this entire freighter was basically just occupied by us, our character, right, and no one else. So, like you can see over here in the mess, there's several people, quite a few. You don't get to talk to everyone here, like there's only a handful of characters that you'll actually be interacting with for the rest of the game. But yeah, I don't know, I mean, did they just have a much larger crew? Or what exactly is going on with this screen? It's a little strange. Oh well, either way.
Well, here comes a mighty captain himself, terror of the sea. So where are your classmates?
What? My what?
Sorry, you're so naive. I figured you must be out here on a field trip.
I was responding to an SOS.
Let me tell you something, landlord. Anybody sends an SOS around here, and you can bet they're a pirate. Hell, Hank Bellows has been working that fake SOS sub story for years. We just used him to help us board your ship.
What? What do you want?
All of your gold.
I don't have any gold. My name is William Drake. You're Bellows' men?
Nah, Bellows is a damn creep. We were shipwrecked. Now you're rescuing us.
Like I had a choice.
Them's the breaks in the rescue business, man. Lend someone a hand and you're as likely to lose your arm.
Well, okay. But yeah, something else I'd like to point out is, considering, like, you know, the age of this game, the actual voice acting for it is pretty good. Gets a little strange over here and there, like, it's not perfect, so to say, but it most certainly is impressive given the time period. But yeah, a lot of these characters are actually kind of neat. Most of them are pretty memorable. But yeah, I mean, you know, you can take you'll take what you're given, I guess.
Freighter?
Well, my family's gone, so I was just out to see the world.
I see. Well, let me give you a little advice. That's going to be tough to do with your eyes closed.
Oh my. Okay. Although, to be fair, she does have quite a bit of a point there. I mean, yeah, you really fell for that one. Mailing.
What do you want, baby cakes?
Just to talk.
Well, let's do that when I've had more sleep. We're all tired.
Okay. Apart from Stony, doesn't look like a lot of people are really into talking that much. Now, I am very curious to see if a certain character is over here already. Hey!
Oh, that damn light!
Oh, sorry.
Shove off!
No, I'm gonna point this out right now. This guy over here, he's my favorite character for the whole damn thing. He's a bro. He's quite a character.
You've got a good heart, boy, but you're a bit soft in the head. That SOS could have cost you your life.
That pirate wasn't too tough.
Yeah, sure. Bellows is as harmless as a sea anemone as long as he's drunk. But watch out when he's sober.
Well, okay. Okay. Where else can we talk? Okay, back at the bridge. Nat.
What do you want?
Well, maybe an explanation. Why did you seize my freighter?
Why? No alternative.
Okay. I will also say, if you just look at it, it does feel kind of weird how sort of non-threatening or on the offensive Drake here is, given the fact that his ship was just taken over by a whole bunch of people. But then at the same time, everyone who came on the ship isn't really being, combative with Drake or anything. They're like, just, yeah, it's whatever, do your thing. Which is, I don't know, it's a weird sort of state of affairs, but ultimately, it does end up being rather interesting. What have you got to say, Stony?
Where are you headed?
Following the bowsprit, man, which is following Amitab's nose.
And where will that take us?
To Atacama City, I hope, where Lindy, Mary, and Juanita are waiting for me. 3 broads in every port, man. It's natural.
What's going to happen to me?
This is a tornado zone. So Amitab's gonna make nice with Iwan King's guys. That's how it is. You scratch my back, and I scratch yours. And listen, you better show the old man you got cojones. Balls, man. Amitab likes people to prove themselves.
What on earth do I have to prove?
That you got fire in your belly. Speaking of which, I heard some tourist punks are shooting up the sea off Lima too. They steal boats at home, then they come over here to shoot the place up. Good opportunity for you to impress the skipper, and for me to tag along.
Okay.
Look who's here. Ni hao, Captain.
You're from the Shogunate.
Yeah, but they're after me there. I didn't dance to their beat.
Are you going to kill me?
Hey, why should we? You've got a strong pair of hands. So as long as you make yourself useful, nothing's going to happen to you.
Okay.
Ship's mate on the bridge. If there's more to you than meets the eye, now is the time to prove it.
This is my ship. I don't have to prove anything.
You prove what I tell you to prove. Now, what you doing all alone on such a big freighter?
This is my family's last ship. It has an auto-loading system.
It also has no cargo on board. What are you doing out here, mate?
Well, just taking a look at the world.
So little Willie wants to see the world. Well, he's about to get an eyeful. Some inebriated punks are terrorizing Lima too. Go below their ballast and send them to the bottom.
Oh, okay. Why not? Do I have any choice?
Sure. It's sharp and shiny like my knife. And don't even think about running off, Willie. I don't know why, but Nat says you stay with us. Now, off you go. Stoney's ready and waiting.
Aye, Skipper.
Listen, we're performing a public service, chasing those parasites out of the territory. You're doing me a service by blowing them away. Besides, the zone always seems to cough up something nice when you're protecting the LF node. Salam.
Okay, so apparently Nat is a little bit more of a figurehead here than Amitab, despite Amitab being the captain. Oh well. What if you got
the crew's worn out. If Stony threatens you, just pay no mind and be on your way.
Easier said than done.
Listen, the only thing you need to fear from Stony is his big mouth.
Okay. Fair enough, I suppose. Okay, let's see what we've got over here. So we've only got the one little starter ship for now. And as for equipment, we only have the one gun. Some torpedoes, buzzers. Okay, nothing special. But yeah, this entire system, like the equipment system for the ships and the ships themselves, there's going to be quite a bit of variation, which was always neat. Alright, Terror at Lima 2. Take out the Neo-Yuppies near Lima 2. Follow Amitab's radio instructions. Tactical hint, Stony Fox and Mei Ling will watch your back. Okay. And out we go.
I've uploaded the data for the next nav point near Lima 2. Get there as fast as you can.
On my way.
Damn, 2 terror freaks. Stony, Mayday, you two hang back. I want to see if Shorty's got what it takes. Oh man, I really wanted to pull my juice trophy.
Okay now, show us what you got, little dragon.
Now, as you could probably expect, the combat in this game is relatively simplistic. It's a little bit of dogfighting in a sense, but what is important to keep in mind is if you can manage to hit the cockpit, that's a weak spot, so whenever possible, aiming for that'll help out a whole bunch. Yeah, the environment for this game was always kind of interesting. I mean, these places never really paid them that much mind back in the day, but as far as I can tell, supposedly these places are still populated. Oh. You what? It's an interesting bit of an analogy there, Mei Ling. Oh, we got more. know what you're talking about. I'm gonna make it. I'll be fine. Okay. Anything else?
Good job. Those fish are filling it.
Right.
Okay, knock it off. That's enough for now. Touch and go, Drake. I'll be right back.
Huh? Where are you going? I'm curious if there's anything to find around here. Probably isn't. Still fairly early on. But you never know. Nah, doesn't look like there's any pocket for anything. I mean, there could be, but not gonna go too far. Anyway, mission's done, so let's get back to the freighter. Accomplished bonus targets. Okay, so there was something extra to do. Curious what that was. We got another weapon. Some armor. Some other stuff. Yeah. Neat.
Harvester. Freighter of the Drake Enterprises.
Alrighty. Well, in either case, this is actually going to be a good spot to take a little bit of a break. See you next time.